This is the Thought Leaders Podcast.
I kind of let go of the pen and ink. Like I don't do it as much right now. My life is very much surrounded by what my career has been known for, which is what you see on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually not doing a lot of my like personal passion work anymore. But you know, I guess sometimes when I'm drawing on digitally, I'll digitally draw like ink, you know, and play around with different character designs, and I still get it out of my system occasionally. But yeah, it's very different than what my pure passion started as.
Okay. I mean, I make that to me, that makes a lot of sense, having, you know, the passion projects and the career. And speaking of the career, I would love to kind of get a walkthrough of, you know, because you've kind of really blown up, and if you can just walk me through your career, because you've been working on some really cool projects with some massive companies.
Okay. So I guess we could start from the beginning, where I'm kind of like an entrepreneur from a very young age. I started out when I was 17 with a graphic t-shirt line, and I was designing my own graphics and kind of just like a one-man show where I would design, build websites, do my marketing, sell the shirts, haggle with my producer to get like good prices on my stuff, and eventually broke away and opened another like online store with a friend of mine, and then moved to Israel, worked for a big fashion designer doing her business development. So I was like in this fashion niche for 10 years, building businesses and working in fashion. And I eventually felt like I wanted to do something more artistic and less business oriented. And that's when I started drawing on images. I'm basically giving you a very short version. There are a lot more details. But I started drawing on images as a passion project, and I was posting it on to my Instagram. And very quickly, I was gaining a lot of traction online and getting a lot of attention for my work. And I myself didn't really know what I was doing because it wasn't planned. I didn't see, you know, a successful digital artist that's painting on photos, working for brand campaigns. I didn't have a role model to follow. I was just doing something that I liked. You know, and so I kept posting it, not just because people loved it, but because I also loved it. And I think that, you know, having both of those elements was very motivating. So I continued that. And I think it was within the first few months of just building my profile as an illustrator on images, I got my first client. And actually, I think before I got my first client, I got an email from the manager of J Balvin, who was a really big reggaeton artist, and she wanted me to design his cover. And I wasn't a business yet. I was still doing some freelance work for designers on the side. And I think it was at that point that I realized I need to start structuring a business around this, because I'm starting to get inquiries. It looks, you know, it looks like I could get some side cash on this stuff. And anyway, slowly started generating more and more clients. And I think it was less than a year into my business, I did my first branded campaign with Nordstrom. Then I did one with 20th Century Fox for the movie Love, Simon. And it just kept rolling from there. I did something with Dior. I did just a lot of really cool projects. And, you know, every time I got a project, I learned something new. I learned, you know, whether it was to explore a new niche of art or inspiration, or a new term in my legal contracts, or a new, you know, way of managing the business. Like I kept learning till I built a system, which, you know, I now have. But it was a very cool experience to have to figure it out on my own. And, you know, it's not something I went to school for, and it wasn't something that was already present. And, you know, a lot of people are fashion bloggers today, or, you know, physical fitness bloggers. And you can see that there's a lot of role models to follow and a lot of systems to practice. And for me, I didn't have that. I didn't know what category I fell into, but I figured it out. And it was a very interesting experience.
I hope you enjoyed this part of the interview. And for the full interview, remember to click the link below.